Today I'm going to show you some really cool arpeggio licks that are really easy to sweep pick at very high speeds. I'll show you why these particular arpeggios are so easy to play fast once you learn them. Now the concept we'll be using in this sweep picking tutorial is known as the 2-1-2 shape arpeggio pattern. The 2-1-2 shape refers to how the notes of the arpeggio are laid out on the guitar neck. Specifically, it's 2 notes on the highest string of the arpeggio, 1 note on the middle string of the arpeggio, and 2 notes on the bottom string of the arpeggio. So if you're playing on the top 3 strings of the guitar, it'd be 2 notes on string 1, 1 note on string 2, and 2 notes on string 3. Now I'll show you in just a minute what this looks like and how to play these. The 2-1-2 pattern for arpeggio playing allows us to sweep pick with the absolute maximum amount of efficiency in the picking hand. And it's this super efficiency that leads to super fast guitar speed. Now once you learn how to play these arpeggios, you'll also be learning simultaneously how to sweep pick very fast in general. Hi, I'm Tom Hess, and I've taught thousands of my online guitar students to learn and master sweep picking and massively increase their guitar speed. And today I want to help you get started to increase your guitar speed with sweep picking too. Now before we get started with all the fast sweep picking you're about to learn, it's really important that your hands are properly warmed up. So to help you do this, you can check out my tutorial video on guitar warm-up exercises. Let's take a look at example 1. If you look at the first 5 notes of this example, you'll see that we've got 2 notes on the 4th string, 1 note on the 3rd string, 2 notes on the 2nd string. And if you notice the picking pattern, we start with an upstroke, then down, then down, then down, then up. So that's the first half of what we're doing. That's basically the 2-1-2 pattern. 2 notes, 1 note, 2 notes. And it's really easy to play fast because the picking hand doesn't have to jump over any string or do any motions that are not efficient. This is maximum possible efficiency. So it's pretty easy to rip right through this once you get the hang of it. Now if you take a look at the second half of this example, again we've got the 2-1-2 pattern. So we've got 2 notes on string 3, 1 note on string 2, 2 notes on string 1. So again it's the same idea. 2, 1, 2. Now notice that the end of the first 5-note pattern, the 17th fret of the 2nd string, is played with an upstroke. Then that leads directly into the second group of 5 notes, which will also be played with an upstroke on string 3. Then down, 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 up. So watch the picking hand real closely. And this allows for, it's very easy to play fast and smoothly because of the massive total efficiency of the picking hand motion. Now as far as the left hand, this is really not very hard. We're using finger 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, then 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. You could use 1, 4, 3, 1, 4 if you prefer, but I think it's going to be a little easier to do this. Really cool sound. It's pretty easy to play fast, very liquidy sounding. Let's take a look at example number 2. It's the same as example 1, except now we're simply doing it in descending order. So we're starting here. So the principle is the same. We've got 2 groups of 5 notes, And each group has the same layout where you got two notes on one string, then one note, then two notes on the next string. Then the next pattern starts the same way. Two notes, one note on the next string, and then two notes on the bottom string. Okay, so and the picking, again, is very efficient. You start with the downstroke, then up, 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 then down. Then to start the next group of five notes, you start with down again, so it's a little sweep pick across. Down, up, 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 down. So slowly it's like this. And you put it together a little bit and it sounds like that. Very nice sounding diminished arpeggios here. These are actually diminished seventh arpeggios. And it's just, again, it's a lot of fun, and it'll really help develop your speed in your sweep picking with these 2-1-2 arpeggio patterns. Now, one more thing that will help you learn and master all of this faster is to check out my video on how to increase your guitar speed without moving your hands faster. All right, so example 3 is simply taking examples 2 and example 1 and putting them together. So it's going to be like this. You're just going right back up, and you just add a little nice vibrato at the end of each note, or end of each measure, I should say. Sounds really nice. And there you have it, example 3. Now, if you prefer, you could take that vibrato note out. Don't stop and hold this out. Just go directly into the next measure. And then you have a nice little repeating pattern without the vibrato and the phrasing in between each one. And that sounds cool too. In example 4, we're going to extend the 2-1-2 pattern a little further down. So example 4 is just like example 2. The difference is that now, instead of having 2 groups of 5 notes, we have 3 groups of 5 notes. And all 3 groups are the same diminished 7th arpeggio. So you may remember from example 2, we had this. Now we've got one more group of 5 notes, and that's here. Now, this is a little bit harder. Example 4 is a little harder than example 2 because in example 2, or if you take the first 2 groups of 5 notes, the transition for the left hand is not very hard at all. It's pretty smooth. But now, from the second group of 5 notes to the third group of 5 notes, it's a little more awkward for the left hand. So we've got this. I'm playing the second group of 5 notes here. Now your hand has to shift down a little bit and then immediately shift back up a little bit. At least my fingers are pretty short, so I have to do that. If you've got longer fingers, maybe you don't have that issue, but I do. All right, so what we have here sounds like this. So it's a bit challenging, but again, the picking is super smooth, super efficient. The only little trouble you may get into a little bit might be for the left hand, but for the right hand, it's really easy, really smooth, and playing fast is no problem. The only thing that the only thing that will slow you down is what your left hand can keep up with. But for the right hand, there's almost no limit to how fast you can play this stuff. All right, example 5 is just the ascending version of example 4. So here, again, we've got a little bit of that awkward shift between the first group of 5 notes. Now your hand has to move up here and then shift up here for the last group of 5 notes. And again, for the right hand, it's super easy. It's really easy. Okay? The left hand, the main thing to do, my main advice here to practice this example, this is true for number 4 and number 5, is just to work on the transition between the lowest group of 5 notes and the first note of the middle group of 5 notes. So that would be like this. Just up to there. Once you do that, it'll feel more comfortable to continue. Okay? It'll be a lot easier. So if you're getting any trouble, probably the trouble spot is likely to be right there. All right, example number 6, we're going to move away from the diminished 7th arpeggio, and we're going to move to some minor 7th arpeggios, in this case, B minor 7th. Okay, very nice sound. So let's check this out. We've got a B minor 7th arpeggio. We're starting on A, the A note. So that's the first set of 5 notes. You'll notice that the picking pattern is identical to the previous examples. So we've got our 2-1-2 pattern. 2 notes, 1 note, 2 notes. And then we've got our second group of 5 notes. And that is also a B minor 7th arpeggio. Now this one is it's got a little awkward part in it where the first 5 notes are really easy. You shouldn't really have any problem with this part. It's pretty easy for the left hand. It's super easy for the right hand. Now when you shift here to the second group of 5 notes, your first finger had just played the 14th fret. Now I'm going to recommend you use your third finger to play the first note of the second group of 5 notes. You could use your middle finger, but I think for reasons you'll see in a minute, it's going to be better for you to use the third finger. Now from here, you've got to open your hand like this. Watch my hand, not the finger. To make this shift, your hand has to sort of pivot this way. And you finish it off here. So we've got this. And there you have it. So I said earlier, you could use that finger. And you might think, well, that seems logical to use this finger because we just used it on that exact same note. Why not use it again? Well, you could do that. But if you do, now you've got to stretch these 2 fingers out by shifting your hand to a greater distance. And I think since efficiency is what we're looking to stick to here in order to build the speed and make the speed easier, this opening up your hand to have to make this stretch, whether you do it this way or this way, is going to put a big strain on your hand, and I think that's more likely to slow you down. By using your third finger, you don't have to open the hand or shift it as much. That will keep the left hand in a more efficient movement pattern, which will allow you to play this faster. Let's take a look at example number 7. This is just like number 6, except now we're doing it ascending instead of descending, and that sounds like this. All right, so it's a really nice sound again. Here, I think it's a little easier to play this ascending than it is descending, because you don't have the same issues with the shifting when you go up as when you go down. I mean, there is a shift, but it appears, in my opinion, easier to do versus this. That's a little harder. At least it is for me. So with ascending, it's easier. And again, we've got our 2-1-2 pattern for the arpeggios. And the sweep picking, of course, is the same. We start with an upstroke, then down, 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 then up again to start the next group of 5 notes, then down, 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 and then up. And there you have example 7. Let's talk about how to practice these sweep picking arpeggios and the 2-1-2 arpeggio pattern. All right? Practice the 5-note patterns, the 2-1-2, slowly. Focus on the efficiency of the picking hand first. Don't worry so much for now about the fretting hand. It's not important at this stage. Okay, what we are, the top priority is to master the movements of the sweep picking motions in the picking hand. This is critical because when you're playing in real life, you're not going to be watching the picking hand. You're not going to be babysitting it with your eyeballs as you play. So you need to rely on it to be totally efficient and perfect, right? So focus on just the movements. In fact, you can do it without even using the left hand. You can just do the motions like this. So right now I'm simulating these. Okay? So I would focus on that first and play the exercises right hand only. Then bring in the left hand and go slowly and add the notes and then work on the synchronization between the two hands. Now, I don't normally say this. I don't normally advise people to practice in the way I just told you to do or suggested for you to do. But I think that in this case, for what we're talking about today, that it's more important in this early stage to focus on the picking hand only than getting the two hands to be synchronized in the beginning. Okay, again, I don't normally say that, but I think it's true in this case. As you master the sweep picking movements and efficiency, and then synchronize the hands together. Okay, once they get in sync, then increase your guitar speed. All right, do it in that exact order. Picking hand efficiency first, two hand synchronization second, increase speed third. Now, this is not the way you ought to practice everything, in my opinion. This is not the way to practice everything. Just this. Now, if you like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the notification bell so that YouTube tells you when I publish a new video. And hit that like button. And let me know by leaving a comment below what other sorts of topics you'd like me to make new videos on for you. I read every single comment and I get a lot of ideas from your comments to create new videos on YouTube. So today we've been talking a lot about sweep picking arpeggios and increasing your sweep picking speed. But what about your fretting hand? If you want to build more guitar speed with your fretting hand, you'll love my new free e-guide called Mastering Fretting Hand Finger Independence for guitar players. It's totally free, no strings attached, and I think you're going to love it.